Update. Parents, 40s, treated me, 21 female, very badly, and I cut them off. Now they want a new beginning. Original post. I have a non-identical twin sister. The two of us couldn't be any more different. She is lucky to be very beautiful and tall and very good looking. She has always ticked every box on her looks. I wasn't so lucky. I wasn't on the beautiful side and was shorter. Right now I'm 5'1", she's 5'8". She was also better at making friends and being sociable, while I was always her awkward sister. Now I know I'm on the autism spectrum, but was only diagnosed 2 years ago. Parents never bothered with that. Now, none of these things make my parents horrible. What makes them horrible is the way they treated me and my sister. They always treated her like she's an angel and treated me like I'm a loser. This goes back as early as when we were 3 to 4 years old. For each 20 pictures that they have of her childhood, they have maybe 2 or 3 of mine. Literally, they have over 10 times as many pictures of her, and most of mine are of both of us. She would always get a lot of attention from everyone, and I got none. Parents spent much more money on her too. Say, if they wanted to spend $100 on clothes, $80 goes to her and $20 to me. Their reasoning has always been that she's more beautiful, and it's worth spending more on her as she gets a lot more attention, while nobody looks at me anyway. So why bother with better clothes? They have literally told me that many times. I was in a sports team. They never once came to see me playing. While they go to see my sister cheerleading every week. Extend this to everything, and you know the story of my life. I hated every second of my childhood. I hated my sister. Yes, I know, none of this was actually her fault. I worked on myself with a therapist, so I no longer feel any hate or blame towards her. Since I was 15, I was counting the days until I became 18 and can leave and never come back, and that's what I did. That's the age which you can leave home without parent consent where we live. I left home the day after my 18th birthday. The night before, parents threw a birthday party for us. Well, for her. Their gift to her was a $1,000 gift card from a luxury designer brand, and for me, a $100 gift card for a bookstore, arguing that this $100 gives me the same level of ability to buy the things I like, books, as that $1,000 would give to her, expensive clothes. Okay. Their logic. They knew I was thinking of leaving, but had no idea I wanted out ASAP. I left that day. They asked me to stay and allow them to help out, but I was like, I've had enough of you. Leave me alone. I never made any contact with them after that. As soon as I was able to, I moved to another city. To get even as further away, as I hated that city too. They called and texted me for a while, but I never answered or replied, and changed my number eventually. I had also removed them from all my social media. I set so that if they sent me any emails, it would automatically get deleted, and a reply automatically deleted, do not waste your time, to be sent. That's the current status of things on my side. 2 days ago, my dad sent me a message on Facebook. My initial instinct was to delete it, but I opened it and started reading. This was the first message in months from them. He explained that he understands that they were not good parents, and they did a lot of wrong, but maybe we can start over. He asked if I can come over for dinner at some point, so all of us can get to know the new each other better. I haven't responded. I don't know if I should give them another chance or just delete this message and don't look back. My reaction for OP. Hey OP, why not give them another chance and see how it goes? What have you got to lose? Now for the update. Update. Hey everyone, I have an update for you all. Thank you to those who have given their advice, wisdom and kind words. Thank you to those for their concern for my well-being. It means a lot. After this morning, when my mum came in to tell me about the meeting, I called my serious other. Been together for 6 years now, who ended up seeing this post. He said he wishes he can take me out of this situation sooner. His parents depend on him in many ways, medically and financially. But he promised me the second I get into any school that him and I would start apartment hunting, so we'd live together. In that moment, I couldn't stop crying from how happy I felt. He doesn't want me moving out on my own because he has before and he knows how demanding it could be, especially since I'd be in school and won't have the opportunity to work as often as I do now. So if he could contribute in any way to lessen my load, he said he would. I then called my uncle and we spoke for a bit, mostly him reassuring me and comforting me when I cried. He said he'd definitely come, and he did. Someone mentioned him being a great person. You're going to love him even more. So when they all arrived, we all sat in my living room, and my dad started the conversation with, "Why do you feel the need to move out in a heartbeat?" My uncle then instantly pretty much exploded on him, telling both my mum and my dad how horrible they've treated me over the years, how unfair they've been, and the lack of reassurance they've given to me. My aunt happens to be a licensed therapist, contributed to the conversation, and explained how mentally, emotionally, and financially abusive they've been towards me. This entire time, my parents did not utter a single word, just my mum crying. My sister, however, she got the worst of it. She decided it would have been smart to say, "Why don't you ask for stuff?" And then my serious other then mentioned how I've asked for them to tell me they're proud, rather than lecturing or telling me I can always do better, and they still don't. I then added, after this, how I watch after their kid do their chores and housework, and how her husband doesn't contribute in any way. My parents and his parents financially support them. My uncle laughed at her. I kind of felt bad because she started crying because of how irresponsible they are at their ages, 28 female and 29 male. After this, my uncle, bless his heart, he was in tears at this point, told them if he could have seen the future when I was born, he would have found a way to take me in as his own. Moreover, I want to try to keep this short, just so it's not too long to read. My parents ended up having their butts handed to them by my aunt, uncle, serious other, and myself. They later finally came to the understanding that they have been shitty. Per my dad's words, "I didn't realise how bad it had gotten until now." My mum just kept crying and saying she's sorry, and how she didn't also realise that she began acting towards me the way her parents were with her, not the generational trauma. The end of this conversation was my significant other telling them whether they liked it or not, I will be moving out eventually, and there is nothing they can do about it. I need to have my space, not only for studying, but for my healing journey. They agree that this might be the best as it could lead to a better relationship. Additionally, my aunt suggested group therapy, which they also agreed to. Personally, I don't know if I see this as a good outcome from what I'm used to. There's usually more yelling and back and forth arguing. I'm hoping I'm not being naive and thinking they understood. But after my uncle and aunt left, my dad came into my room with tears too and just kept saying, "Sorry." I've been emotionally distraught and mentally exhausted over this last day. I don't know if I can forgive because I definitely can't forget, but that's something I can come to grow peace with. This feels like such a bittersweet resolution. Thank you for all of your kind words and advice. I really didn't think this would get much traction. I had posted at a late hour, hoping it wouldn't because I didn't want anyone to find it. But again, my eternal thanks, and I hope you all have a blessed, successful and happy year to come. Story 2. My dad is trying to force my uncontrollable stepsister on my trip, and I told him I'd never forgive him. Plus update. Original post. I, 17 female, am graduating, and my friends and I have already planned a trip to a cabin for the summer before we start college. I have been a babysitter since I was 13, so I have saved up a considerable amount of money. When I was 15, my dad got remarried about a year and a half after my mum passed away. My dad's wife had a 13-year-old daughter, and as soon as we moved in together, they started to push her off on me and force us to do everything together. I don't like my stepsister. She's always throwing tantrums if she doesn't get what she wants. She's spoiled to the point that at my 16th birthday, she got her own special cake so she wouldn't feel left out. And she also blew out the candles on my cake. And when I complained, my dad told me, "It's time to grow up. Being a sister is about sharing things." I told him I didn't have a sister. and I guess she overheard, and she went on a rampage. The party was ruined. I distanced myself from them after that. I'm forced to either take her with me to places or stay home with her if I can't take her, or my dad or dad's wife can't watch her or don't want to deal with her. Imagine everything that I said she does with my dad and his wife onto a 15 to 17-year-old me. I was forced to take her bowling with me, and she would not stop trying to dig her hands in the part where the balls come out, and she started running down the lane, so I had to take her home, and my night was ruined. This happens a lot, but I don't care. I have tried to keep this a secret from her, but when I was in my room on the phone talking about it over pizza and music, I found out she snuck in and hid in the closet and was eavesdropping. She bursted out asking if she could come, and I told her no and to get out. She started stomping her feet and she ran out. My friends begged me to not invite her. My dad called me downstairs and asked if she could go because she could use a vacation, and I told him, I'm not taking her. They can take her on a vacation, but I'm not watching her for almost 3 weeks alone. My dad's wife called me selfish, and that my dad was paying for a portion of it anyway, and if Lily doesn't go, then I don't get to go too. I told her she doesn't get a say in any of this. She's not my mum. And to stop forcing her child on me when she created what she is. Lily starts yelling at me about not being a big sister, and I don't want to spend time with her. I snap and tell her I don't. She ran away crying, and my dad said he won't pay for the rest of my trip if I don't take her. So I told him if he does that, I will not be talking to him anymore, nor will I forgive him for it. He said I'm being dramatic and she isn't bad. So I grabbed a bag and went to my aunt's house, my mum's sister, and told her what happened. And she said she would put up what he took away when I go to college. I can stay with her. I told my dad what I was doing and he blew up at me and said I was being a brat and they're my family now and not my aunt. As far as I know, she does not have any disabilities. She's been to doctors and therapy. She's just insanely spoiled, and that's how she's always gotten her way when told no. The first time I met her, everyone agreed on Mexican except her. She was yelling in the car for 10 minutes before she was calmed down by her mum appeasing her. Then she goes back on her phone texting. If she does, then that explains why she acts that way, and I can take it that she can't help it, but I still shouldn't be forced to watch her 24/7. Now for the update. I know a lot of people wanted an update on my last post. I can't post the link, so you can go to my profile to see it. The trip happened, and I did not end up taking her like I said I wasn't. From the time that I posted that up until the time that I left, the household was very tense and awkward. I was not speaking to any of them. The only person I had to confide in and talk to was my aunt, and I'm so grateful for her. My dad still thought that I was going to bring her on the trip, and I kept telling him that I'm not watching her and she's not coming with me. The morning of the trip we left at like 6 in the morning when he called me. I was already about 5 hours out, so he couldn't do anything. When I got back, it was a lot of yelling and crying from me and my dad and his wife. She said that I left them in a tough position and that they had to stay home because they couldn't get anyone to watch Lily. My dad and I had a serious talk for hours, and he agreed that maybe we need to separate so we can work on our relationship, which hurt me because I would have liked for him to tell me I can stay in my own home while we do it. But I did end up going to my aunt's house with no issues. My dad and I started family therapy with just the two of us. His wife was pretty upset. He was actually listening to me and was seeing where I was coming from. Right when we were getting good and building a better relationship, I came over for dinner and he asked if we could integrate his wife and Lily into therapy. And I told him that I had no interest in having a relationship with them. She called me a selfish C and that I needed to be grateful that she let me stay with them after she moved in. I waited for my dad to correct her and he was silent pretty much, so I left and I haven't talked to him in almost a month. he keeps showing me that he will not be on my side. So, to wrap things up, the cabin trip was so much fun. I have never felt so free from a burden. The trip was in June and we were there for almost a month. We even extended it. When I was packing for school, my dad came to visit and I guess his wife called and he had to lie about where he was because I guess she doesn't want him to see me. So I told him we don't need to have contact right now or continue therapy because it's clear which part of his family he cares more about. I don't know what's going to become of my dad right now. And right now, I don't care. I'm focused on school and studying to become a nurse. I don't want any negativity to ruin this experience. But I'd be lying if I said it doesn't hurt, but I don't have a parent to experience this with. But my aunt says she is my surrogate mum and to share all my worries and success with her. I am currently in my first week of college and the amount of freedom I feel here is also so new. I am a little overwhelmed, but I am in an honours club. I am also in a creative writing book club. And the friends I have made are so amazing. I am currently living on campus and I have never been better mentally. I am getting separate therapy to deal with my mum's death because that was never offered to me by my dad. My aunt has truly become a mother figure to me. Being 2 states away from her is really hard, but I can't wait for weekend visits and holiday visits. Also, another thing is that I'm going to be a godmother. My aunt was told at 22 that she would never be able to have kids and she is currently 4 months pregnant. And I'm so excited because if anybody is going to be a good mother, I know it's going to be her. When she came to visit and tell me, I think she saw I was a little worried. I told her I am so excited and happy for her and nothing will change that. But she's the only family I have right now and don't want to get left behind like I did at home. And we cried and she promised me that she was filling in for my mum. And she will be there for the rest of my life, whether I like it or not. I am planning the baby shower. And I can't wait for the baby to be here. But yeah, that's it. Thank you all for checking up on me and giving me encouraging words. That's all for today. If you enjoyed this story, please like the video and share your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you.